Alright, well, good evening. Mike with Low Def Media, using the Fuji X-A5, walking around the house. Just got back from a trip to Nashville, checking some low light performance, and seeing just how good this microphone is. Hold on just a second. Whoa! Doggo felt like coming outside, so we will come outside, see what's cooking up out here. Really wish this camera had like a log profile, something a little flatter, but it doesn't, and so you just gotta kind of deal with what it gives you. So anyway, Doggo's glad to be back out in the yard after a few days of being on the road. Let's try to pump up this. There we go. White balance was pretty low. I'm gonna try something here. Alright, see how that works. Gonna do a little backyard vlog action. Yeah, let's see how this works. See if it picks up the audio pretty good. I like the way the camera looks. Probably a little wider than I would like. Let's try to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Yeah, how do you like that? Pretty fancy. Got a lot of pollen on the table. This is gross and disgusting. Go get him, Doggo. Yeah, Doggo's here. There's the Doggo. Say hi, Doggo. Yeah, I don't know what's up her butt right now, but she's very antsy about something. Maybe if I brush her, maybe she'd like that. What do you think? Want me to get the brush out? Want me to brush your love bug? All right, well, I'm gonna brush the dog. See you in the next one. Entries, all right, and so got Doggo a new ball. This thing right here, and we're gonna throw it for her. Let's see what happens. Go get it, dog. Alright, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the footage from this Canon with the Fuji X-A5, which is a mirrorless camera. I'm going to run them side by side, and I'm going to put them on, sorry, watching the dog. I'm going to put them on a LumaFusion, I think that's what it's called. And Doggo is really enjoying this bone we got her. If you see her snout there, she's scratched herself because she's so darn itchy. She's got an appointment with the vet Wednesday, try and get that fixed, because she scratches herself so bad that she draws blood. Poor thing. But she is really enjoying that ball. Tammy got that off of Amazon. Alright, well, let's compare these two cameras, see which one has a better quality. Alright, well, good afternoon. This is Mike with Low Def Media, and hey, wow, look at that light in the background. Hey, guess what? I am using the Fuji X-A5 front door, natural light. What do you think of that bokeh in the background? Pretty nice. Crazy hairdo day. I've got this set up on a pretty interesting, I don't know, it's a pretty interesting setup. I've got it on a Manfrotto tripod, but as you know, the X-A5 has a 2.5 millimeter microphone jack. And so the only thing, and let me slow down, has a 2.5 millimeter microphone jack and the hot shoes on top, but this has a flip up screen. So if I try to use a microphone mounted on the hot shoe, then I can't see the screen. So what I've been kind of relegated to is a plug-in microphone that just goes in the side. There's an adapter that I bought, and so it goes into the adapter, into the side of the camera, sticks out about that far altogether, and so that's what I've been using as a microphone. Now, it's served its purpose, not great, but it served its purpose. What I'm doing today is I've got one of those brackets that has two cold shoe mounts. So I've got the camera on one, I've got an external microphone plugged with the cord wrapped around the back, plugged into the side of the X-A5, and I'm hoping that this particular microphone picks up better audio than the very small Ceramonic microphone that I was using before. Now I'm walking around the house because of a couple things. One, I want to try the internal stabilization. I want to see how that's working. And I also want to try this lens and this setup in a variety of different lighting situations. Like right now I'm standing beside the window. The blinds are tilted at about 45 degrees, and so not a lot of light coming in, but I do like this particular profile that's built into Fuji, into the camera. This is almost like a log profile. It's just flatter, and I like it a lot. I'm liking the image in the back. I like the stabilization. Let me open this curtain up just a little bit. Very nice. Now see, this would be the perfect place to do a vlog because the light is just stellar, and then I can take these off so you don't get the reflection off my glasses anymore. I gotta tell you, I like this setup, and so the only thing is it looks good on the flip up screen, so we're gonna have to figure out how well the microphone's picking up and if that's usable. And yeah, so for right now this is doing the trick. Now I'm gonna walk down this hallway. It gets a little darker. Let's see what happens here. The facial recognition is still finding me. So the autofocus is working great. Now yep, everything's working just the way it should. It's locked on my face. Oh, let me walk around this way. I gotta figure out something to do for lunch. I don't have anything here in the house and I'm hungry. Maybe make a PB&J. All right, so the cleaning lady just came today, so I'm not as worried about walking around the house because everything's pretty clean. Let's see what it looks like in the bathroom. Yep, that's a bathroom. All right, and then the bed. All right, the light in the background's a little overblown, but it's not. Oh, there we go. See, I knew that was going to happen. The exposure finally caught up, and it compensated for the back. Now let's do this. If I go here and I lock in the exposure, then I go back over here, it doesn't change. Yeah, it did. Well, that sucks. There's supposed to be a function button right here that if you press it, it's supposed to lock in your exposure and your white balance and all that stuff. And then if you change environments, kind of like on an iPhone, and then if you change your environment and your lighting, it's not supposed to change. And there we go, it just changed. Well, that's a bummer, doesn't work. And I find myself with that screen up at the top, I find myself looking at that a lot and not the lens. All right, well, I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna go make some lunch. Now, I have moved from the Fuji X-A5 to the Canon T7i, X-A5 T7i. And so now I wanna see the image quality for comparing a 1080p to a 4K mirrorless. Everything looks pretty similar. I do like the autofocus on the Canon. Let's see what it looks like with the bright background. Yeah, see, that's where this really suffers. When it's a bright background, it really casts a lot of shadows on my face, and it doesn't compensate very well. And I'm also very interested to see how the stabilization that's built into the lens, I want to see how that works. Got a little music going on in the background, so hopefully you're not picking up too much of that. Standing here with some natural light coming in from the back door, so hopefully this is a very good image. I do have an external mic plugged into the Canon. It's just a Ceramonic, a little kind of like a thumbnail microphone, and so hopefully that's getting the audio that we like. Here's the one thing that I will say, compared to the X-A5, this camera is much heavier. Now see, this is where it really suffers. There it goes. Now it takes a while, but it does get there and then it balances out. So that's, you know, it's an older camera, so that's where it's gonna struggle. But it does have a really good sensor. It's a CMOS sensor, so I don't know why it's such a struggle. All right, now we're next to another big light. It's a big window. I do like the background. Now this is a tighter image. I will say that. Let me do this something real quick here. I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna put it on the tripod. It's one of those goofy tripods that you can wrap it around a tree and all that good stuff. So all right, thank you for bearing with me. All right, let's see how this autofocus works here. All right, so got a little more depth of field back there, and what do you think? How does this image look compared to the X-A5? I gotta say, I like the autofocus, hoping that the microphone is still doing an adequate job. So this is, you know, it's one of those things where I think both are very usable. I think using the X-A5 is probably a little easier just because it's a smaller form factor, but I like the side flip out screen on the Canon. The file size is probably gonna be easier to use. Audio is probably gonna be a little bit better. But as far as the image, the bokeh in the, now this particular lens, let's see. This lens is a 4 to 5.6. And so the X-A5 was about a 3.9 to 5.9. So about the same when it comes to depth of field. So you're not gonna get a whole lot of background like you do with the 50 millimeter. But for what I do, this is a very usable image. So let's compare it in an editor to the X-A5. Good afternoon, this is Mike with Low Def Media, and now we are on the DJI Osmo Pocket 1. I have to say the 1 because there are 2. Earlier today, I started off by using my Fuji X-A5. It's a mirrorless camera, 4K, shoots in 30 frames a second, and I was pleasantly surprised with the footage. It was much sunnier then. Was using an external microphone, so the audio was great. Then I went to my Canon DSLR. It's a T7i, and again with the external mic, sounded great, looked decent. Didn't have the same depth of field that the Fuji had, and really wasn't as pleased with that. Used the kit lens, the 18 to 55 millimeter. Wasn't as pleased with that image as I was with the Fuji, and now I'm on the DJI Osmo. What I will say is that comparatively, this is much smaller. Also, I'm hoping that I've got a wide angle lens on it. I've got the Freewell wide angle. So I'm pretty sure it's going to capture a greater field of view than either of the 2 other cameras. But I think the background, the bokeh in the background, the blur, the professional look is probably going to suffer quite a bit. Also, the audio is just the onboard mic. There's one at the bottom, then there's another one in the front. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to walk around. The smaller sensor size is probably going to struggle here in the more dimly lit areas, but again, the screen is so small I can't really tell. So let's stand by this window with some natural light, and this is an average, image that you'll get from the DJI Osmo. Now, what I do notice is that if I take that wide-angle lens off, for whatever reason, because it's got face tracking on, it always captures me from about here up. So it takes the top of, like my hairline up. That's what it decides is the right place to focus. So my whole face does not get in the frame. With this Freewell lens, it's doing a much better job. Now I'm gonna get totally blown out. There I go. Yep. All right, let's go this way. Oh, it lost me. I'm over here. There we go. Come on. Hey, over here. All right, hold on. There we go. Ha! Found me. Sometimes if you move too fast, this thing just gets totally lost, and so you do have to pay attention. All right, so heading back to the office now, and let's run this back through the editor and see how it compares to the other two cameras that I used today. I know in the office test, this performed better than I thought. It actually looked pretty decent. Audio wasn't too horrible. So let's see how it looks on just the handheld tripod compared to a DSLR and a 4K mirrorless.